Space, the final frontier. Space Station Epsilon sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the U.S.S. Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek Preservations.
Welcome, travelers. My name is Lee Wanika, and I am the GM and storyteller for Star Trek Preservations, the actual play, adventure played by the amazing cast and team here at Tabletop Journeys. Of course, we are using the Star Trek Adventures RPG 2nd Edition rules as we begin the first episode of Season 3. Before we go any further, I want to take the time to introduce our amazing cast, and I will turn things over to them as they introduce themselves as players and their characters.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Joe Harney, and I am playing Commander Sabian Tobor, the commanding officer of the U.S.S. Dilamus Christian, a Saber-class Federation starship.
Hi, I'm Adam Scaramella, and I portray Lieutenant Commander Ocean Chazilwer, who is the Dilamus Christian's Endorian First Officer.
Hi, I'm David Rideout. I play Lieutenant Davidian Tenari, the Dilamus Christian's Chief Engineer. I've just discovered that Mako's battle cry is Yo-Jo.
Hi, my name is Lacey Knutson, and I am continuing today playing Lieutenant Narila Nilan, the science officer on the U.S.S. Dilamus Christian.
And I'm Glenn Myers. I play Lieutenant Camdril Najar, the half-Betazoid Chief of Security for the Dilamus Christian.
As we are about to begin Season 3 of Star Trek Preservations, we left ourselves in the middle of a cliffhanger. There are a lot of things happening, and a little peek behind the curtains for the audience. We actually recorded that final episode in 2 separate sessions with folks in different groups. Because of that, there might have been a little inconsistency along the way. I'm going to clear that up here. And just to let you know that the Dilamus Christian was, in fact, inside of Epsilon Station as the events unfolded in the previous episodes. As we were concluding our final episode of Season 2, a kaleidoscope of stars distort and then restabilize as an enemy fleet emerges from warp. Ships from many different origins, Federation, Talarian, Breen, Klingon, and Petarian, gather in a loose, foreboding formation. Once proud hulls of these vessels bear visible signs of damage and disrepair, their armor scorched and pitted with the scars of countless battles with exposed hull plating, jagged scars from past battles, and flickering navigational lights. The U.S.S. Rama, at the heart of the fleet, looms ominously, its Saber-class silhouette unmistakable. Despite its strange modifications, pulses of unknown energy ripple through the surrounding space, emanating within this refitted structure. Smaller craft dart around like gnats around their motherships, forming a loose but deliberate screen that shields the Rama from direct attack. The assembled fleet lingers just beyond optimal weapons range, a silent harbinger of hostilities to come. Reserve power is down on the Dilamus Christian, something that will have to be addressed. And in the shuttle bay of the Dilamus Christian, Commander Tobor, Lieutenant Commander Ocean, and Lieutenant Najar find themselves in the barely landed shuttle, kind of skidded in a weird position, but successfully and safely on board the Dilamus Christian. What would you like to do?
So after we land and everything, Tobor stands up. He does the full-on Picard tug on his jacket and hits the button and lowers the back door of the runabout. Strides out, waiting for his other officers to follow him to the bridge.
Najar's on his heels, and on the way to the bridge, sends out through comms to the security team to execute ship defense protocol Najar 1 that we've been drilling since that very first battle with this race when we were boarded, effectively setting up around the ship to ideally, defend in the event of boarding and to keep the crew safe and control damages as much as possible, assisting engineering, etc.
And Adam?
So seeing that Tobor is back in possession, he's dropped whatever shock he had been previously expressing, I will grab a data pad and start pulling information about who's on board. I will start assigning specific people to the runabouts to launch and to provide support. Specifically, I want to get the tank Abbott into the air, but I also want to get the Kitty Hawk into the air as well, because that has high resolution sensors, and I think those will be useful.
And Lee, who else is here on the flight deck? Because essentially, as Tobor is walking to the turbo lift, he points at the first red-shirted con officer he finds and just says, "Get both of these ships back in the air."
Absolutely. As far as the who, give me one
Chathana
second.
her?
Yes, that's correct. Hannah is there. Aye. And they begin work on getting the ships prepped. And with that, I'm going to have a trio of rolls. And I'm going to go with your roll first, Joe. 2 difficulty. Basically, it's your command of the team, getting the shuttles prepared, whether we can get them done in an immediate fashion or it would take the standard 10-minute readiness.
Fair enough. I'm going to use my composure focus with that roll and a command presence and 2 difficulty. Do we have any momentum? At least I'll buy at least 1 die with momentum.
Yeah, we have 2 momentum to start with. We're starting a season. We came off of a good close. So if you're going to buy 1 die, that'll leave you with 1 momentum. There are currently 5 threat.
Perfect. 10, 14, 15. So 3 successes.
Excellent.
No criticals. So we get that momentum. And then I'm going to spend my bonus patient momentum to reduce the time of this task.
Excellent. So it'll be near immediate. Let me ask Adam this question. Given the nature of what you see in the situation and what you're going to try to do to get folks manned and such like that, do you feel it would be a good idea to get extra bodies a la Mako's on any of these shuttles?
Yes, I do. So I had mentioned to you before the game that there were specific people I was looking for, but once that's in play, I'm going to be looking for Kaval and Krim to be piloting at least 2 of the runabouts, Bridget and Hamish from security to be on tactical for them. I am also going to buzz the colonel as well to get anybody that he has already trained for the systems down to the shuttle bay.
Okay. Given the issues that took place in the interim, the colonel's folks were already in a state of readiness. So they are likely to be immediate. Joe, with your bonus momentum spend, you are ready to go. Those ships are ready to fly almost immediately. Adam, similarly, you have a task difficulty of 2, no additional complications because, like I said, they were already in readiness. So you can have a team of Makos, basically 5 folks for each shuttle.
Okay. Yep. And I'm just seeing if they have a focus that is relevant. Don't think lead by example would play in. No, I do not have one. Okay. So, but I am going to. Do we have any momentum already?
We've got
Joe, 2. You spent your bonus momentum? but you got 3, which means you got 2, which leaves you with
2, because I spent 1, gained 1.
Yeah, but you had 2. You spent 1, which left 1. Gained 2 is a total of 3 momentum.
But I had to spend the bonus 1. Couldn't save it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, you are correct. Then we have 2.
I'm just going to spend 1 to get the extra die.
Roger that.
Okay. I rolled a... Sorry, I should have said what I was going to roll it under first. I believe this would be a command...
Insight or reasoning? Knowing who's on the duty roster.
I'm just actually looking up the definition of control. That's
more physical and mental... Physical dexterity and mental control.
Yeah, control command is the carefully and precisely coordinated group of subordinates. So I don't know if that's kind of what I'm doing here. So that makes sense to you, Lewenica?
That makes sense to me. That's exactly what you were doing, so I'm fine with that as the roll.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I'm going to re-roll it because I hadn't said anything before. That is 3 successes, but no criticals.
Okay,
So
excellent.
I got 2 15s and a 13. I have a 16 on that.
All right, so that's going to give you 1 bonus momentum. Any spends for that?
No, let's bank that.
Okay. That leaves us with a total of 2 momentum. Again, we are still at 5 threat. Each of those shuttles that's about to fly has a team of 5 Makos on board. Let's see here. I just have to make that note.
I'm not remembering what a Mako is. What does Mako stand for? What do these people represent?
They're effectively the Starfleet Marines of the Enterprise era.
I was pretty sure that's what they were. I just wasn't 100% positive and trying to make sure I was on track. Thank you.
After the Enterprise series, those who remained in Starfleet, once became the intergalactic organization, would have been folded into the security department. But not all did. And that was never depicted on screen, so that there's still a lot of beta canon involved in that process.
Cool, thanks.
All right, so each shuttle has the 5 Makos, and Glenn, Najar's role is going to be based on that drill. You're effectively 2 difficulty as well, but your role is, given everything that's happened and all the constant drilling and all of the work, are they going to use this protocol and basically create a prepared trait, giving them an improvement on any challenge involving these security operations and defending the ship from being boarded and such, of a benefit of 1 to you and your crew under your command based on the drilling. So that's essentially what you're rolling for here.
Okay. It's a difficulty of 2.
Correct.
Obviously security.
I would say command security, because this is you drilling them, teaching them, running them, ordering
But those
them.
are both disciplines. I need an attribute to go with security. So it would either
Reason
be
or insight.
Maybe even presence, depending on how you approach the actual training montage.
I like insight because that really is a trait, and I know it's one of his higher ones, but that is central to Najar's character and his planning, is that he sees a lot of angles and has the insight to find the right positions as he sets up his plans. You cool with that?
Absolutely. And even so far as to say you have the insight to know who to put in what position, so you know
Correct.
how to approach the discussions along the way and the training to make it most effective. I'm absolutely fine with insight.
He looks at all of those details of his crew, their strengths, their weaknesses, and his insight is what helps him formulate his plans based on all of those. Yes, I love it. Okay, and I will give you another threat for bold security.
Yeah.
For 3 dice. I have 3 successes, 1 critical.
Excellent. So
assuming you agree that my value of my ship is my home and I'm responsible for the safety of everybody aboard applies to use the expanded critical range.
You need the focus.
That's you need a focus, not a value in that.
My bad. Starship and Starbase tactical systems.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
So 3 successes. I don't have an immediate spend.
All right.
I'm sorry, 4 successes. 4 successes with that critical.
Okay, so you've got 2 no immediate spend. We're banking. We are at 4 momentum, 6 threat. And the ship will have, and everybody please bear in mind, for security operations in the event of a breach or boarding action, we'll have a +1 to assist them in that process, making it 1 difficulty level easier in those situations.
Jotted down right here on my notes.
Excellent. So with that, the 3 of you are moving towards the bridge. We cut immediately to the bridge,
Well, Lee, I have a
I'm sorry.
turbo lift conversation I
Yep.
want to have. So Tobor taps on his comm badge. Tobor to Colonel Hawks.
Hawks here.
Can I assume with your usual efficiency, Colonel, that you and your men are loitering outside my armory trying to convince my deputy security chief to give you guns?
Actually, given the protocol that your chief of security just sent over, Vasily was more than happy to start handing them out. I will
Excellent.
say he had them all armed up and all our bandoliers ready to rock.
That's what I imagine. Can I have you plug in and liaison with Lieutenant Najjar? I know he's a little junior to you in your experience, but can you plug into him for tactical operations?
Absolutely. One quick question, Joe.
Yeah.
Because everybody was getting ready and getting on their ships and they were ready to fly almost immediately, did you give the order to fly as soon as they were loaded? Or did you want them to hold until you told them to fly?
I said get those birds in the air.
Done. And then you hear a sound, and he's like, "We're away. I'm on board the Tank Abbott with your crew."
And who am I coordinating with? What did I? Who did I just get saddled with?
The leader of the Makos.
Okay, cool.
So you have an extra 30 Marines now.
Love it. I'll assign specific officers that are in charge of running various parts of the ship to help distribute them among the crew and Najjar Protocol 1.
Perfect.
You have 15 on board the DC because 15 are on board the 3 shuttles that just launched.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, Najjar will also want to know if any of them have field medic or emergency medical training and who has the best engineering experiences, because with that many extra people, they would also be tasked with helping with damage control or wounded or anything else in the areas that they're working.
Unfortunately, your person who has the medic ability and the individual who is with the Makos that has the engineering capacity, or the 2 individuals, they're both on that science team and are not available to you. So you're actually
So be it.
slightly under 30, but 15 are away on the shuttles. That would have left 15. There are a few that are away, so you're probably somewhere around 10 left on board.
Fair enough. Thank you.
You got it. All right. And with that, we switched to the bridge while the other actions were going on. Tanari, you were in the chair and you have the scene in front of you. Lieutenant Nealon, you are there. You do have an op staff member trying to repair the con station. Lusan, by the way, had gotten you out of there using that pad device that y'all had worked on very early, I believe season 1, because the con station was non-functional. But he basically, realizing that that was the case and what was needed, used the device that you had put together in the previous seasons.
All right.
So he can fly the ship based on that, but the sooner that the con station is up and running, the better.
Looking around the bridge, once we get through the locks to the dry dock, I'll be like, all right, shields to full, arm all weapons. Ships do not fire until they fire first. Put us between them and the station. Take tactical to reassign it to ops. And what is that on the ops console?
As you say that, the camera pans and you see this little burbling and little sparks. And that air so sweet smell of Merlot as it is being made into a nice reduction on your console.
Thickly sweet, burnt, sugary smell.
We don't have time to explain what's going on there.
Excellent. Oh, and Tanari, I should add that when you sat down, you did have to move a rapier from the chair. It was actually stuck in the chair.
Okay.
So there is a very fancy basket-hilted rapier that is now clattering on the floor of the DC.
Well, shit, y'all met shenanigans.
I will be sitting there on the captain's seat with the rapier across my lap.
Excellent. As far as getting everything, the normal protocol will happen. I would certainly say this is a chance for you to provide an opportunity for the DC as a whole, sitting in the chair. Is there any particular thing that you would like to do to add benefit to this scenario or scene for the DC?
I'm going to, with that speech I gave, try to make sure that the bridge crew is snapping to and getting efficient. Would that be either control command or presence command?
Command presence to inspire, to generate momentum.
Okay.
Yep.
And I have a composure focus, which I believe would count.
Yes.
What difficulty would this be?
This is not a battle-tested crew, but it is a situationally tested crew.
Based off of the command major action to rally,
Yep.
it is a presence command task difficulty 0. Because
Yep.
it exists essentially to specifically
Generate
generate
momentum.
momentum.
Roger that.
All right. Then I will go ahead and spend a threat to get a third dice.
Oh, yeah.
And my difficulty number is 10. Oh, my. No criticals. I've got a 3, a 6, and an 8.
Nice.
Excellent.
So
And
3
that
successes.
3 counts as double.
No, I only have a 2 command.
Oh, okay. All right.
However, I have intense, which gives me a bonus momentum that I need to spend now.
All right.
Let me see what I can spend momentum on. Tell you what, I will take that momentum and take one more, create a trait, and let's call it ready to go, because this is what the crew has been training for.
All right. And how is that being applied as far as the trait?
That everyone is at their positions, people are ready to follow commands, they're not rushing to get things done. Everyone is calm and collected, so any sort of penalties they may have for this suddenly having come up, we're not going to have to worry about them.
All right, that sounds good.
And then I'm going to give a command to Narilla to scan those ships.
So we have ready to go 1. We have a complication for science 1. And we have prepared 1, which is for boarding actions.
And I did give the order to transfer con controls to tactical 2.
Yep. Jotting that down to make sure I have it all so I don't lose it in the critical moments. So you spent your intense momentum, but you had 3 successes, which would have given you 3 momentum, but you were already at 4 momentum, so you have at least 1 additional momentum spend to me.
I had to spend 2 momentums to create the trait, so I spent the bonus momentum and 1 additional one.
Excellent. So in that case, we are at 6 momentum maxed, and we are at 7 threat. Lacey, you've been asked to scan those ships.
Yes, I would like to do that. And so I'm looking at the sensor operations. Is that what I can use?
Absolutely.
The scan for weakness. So it says a control science with a difficulty 2, assisted by the sensors and security. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I'd like to use a momentum.
All right.
And I don't think I have anything that would help me as my talents.
What are your talents again, real quick?
Science officer, bold science, ESP, unconventional thinking, and untapped potential.
I would think bold science could apply here.
Bold
But
science?
she's not spending threat.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
spending momentum.
Gotcha.
We have a lot of threat, and
Yes.
I feel like I got bit really hard last time. I built up a lot of threat, as you can see by the wine on the control. The only thing is, if I succeed as a science officer, if the ship's helping,
you get an extra question.
Extra, yeah. All right. So I rolled a 4, 4, and 6.
Nice.
Which feels really good. I'm not using my clicky clack dice today. I'm using a virtual roller.
Is that 2 criticals for you?
No.
Not without a relevant focus.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Never mind.
I should add that the difficulty for this is actually a bit increased for reasons. So this was going to be a 3 difficulty challenge in this case.
Is the ship helping?
The ship will be helping, and that would be sensors science. So 13 is the target number. Bear in mind that your complication range for the ship is increased, so it's 19 and 20. But you do have the benefit of Advanced Sensor Suite. Advanced Sensor Suite allows... Give me 1 second.
Sensors generates more momentum upon a scan success.
Yep. And the Dilamus Christian also has high resolution sensors.
Oh, we don't have the advanced. We just have high resolution. The Eagle has the advanced.
I'm sorry. So, and high resolution.
Gives us the bonus momentum when we do
Yep.
a scan.
Got it.
And then Lacey, real quick, what attribute did you use for
I
your role?
use command.
Reason science?
No, I use control science. But
Okay,
reason science would just be better. But what I read on that sheet was that I would use control science would be better.
So now you need to, for your untapped potential, you need to roll a second d20 or a single d20, and you want to be equal to or lower than your control rating.
Okay. I rolled a 1.
Awesome. So we get a bonus momentum from that.
All right. So that taps you out to the bonus. And what was the total successes on that? 3? For 3?
Is somebody rolling for the ship?
Yep, you can, Adam.
Okay.
I was going to say there's an expanded difficulty range. You don't want me rolling.
I got a 4.
Excellent. Ship counts as a focus, so that is 2 additional successes. So you have 2 additional momentum to spend, which cannot be banked.
The DC only has a science of 2.
Oh, sorry.
You're looking at the eagle again.
Yep. All right. So correction. You have 1 momentum, which can be spent.
Must be, right? Because we're
1 momentum must be spent, which means you're likely to have to add one of the others to it to get something useful done.
I would, if I could. Well, never mind. No, this is yours.
I mean, I'm happy to.
So from the chats, you know that I'm thinking that we need to know not just what these ships are, but what's on board. Are there just piles and piles of Epsilon bugs? Because if that's the case, then we need to make sure that they're not just making a plague ship.
That's better than my initial thought, which was to analyze how they were positioned. But if we can find out a way, figure out information about what's on board, I think that's probably better information.
Okay. So let me give you what the initial scans give you, and then you can pose your bonus questions from there. It is very clear from your initial scan that all of the ships are charging. They are not at full power.
Okay.
Being 0.1. Specifically, the Rama is charging up, and its energy signature is very different than the other ship. And they are building. Let's see. And
as in building, as they just came out of warp and are transferring power back from the engines and resettling.
That's a great possible follow-up question. But what you can tell is that they are growing in power and they are storing said power. You can also tell that they are in the process of locking weapons on the DC, Epsilon Station, and the Harrington. And there is some changing of focus of attention as the shuttles have launched.
But we're all still outside weapons range, right?
They are outside of Epsilon Station's weapons range. Yes.
And we're just right outside Epsilon Station right at this point,
correct.
Right? So
yep.
We're at the stare-off phase.
You'll note that he is not saying that we're outside of their weapons range.
I am not saying that. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Oh, so we are at long range.
No. You're outside of long range for all Federation weapons.
Gotcha.
And a tumbleweed tumbles between our 2 ships.
Yeah.
Space tumbleweed.
Wouldn't that be a comet?
Pretty much. More like an asteroid, I think, but yeah.
When the pulsar rings 12 noon.
I don't know if we have a follow-up question at this stage.
So that's what you know right now. You have the ability to use the bonus question, as well as you have the moment.
Plus, we've got a free bonus question from
the sensors themselves.
From the science officer ability.
Yep. So you've got 2 bonus questions right off the rip.
Okay. So, of course, I'll relay this to Tanari, and if he has any questions, but I do think it's good that... Go ahead, if you have something, Tanari.
No, I was just going to remind everyone that the Epsilon sensors are fully functional on the external sensors, if you wanted to use those. The Epsilon species sensors.
Yeah, so I think that's one of
I am incorporating that in there, and yes, there are Epsilon species on those ships. So you can tell that every ship has that you're using identifiable Epsilon creatures.
Maybe we can get a count.
We
I
just
think that'd be a good. The next bonus question is
Count of creatures or count of ships?
count of life forms on ships and how many of them are Epsilon creatures. Is it all 100%, 50-50, like 3 out of 3,000?
like,
Like,
does it look like what we've similar seen, which is like it's rare for there to be Epsilon, or does it look like everybody is Epsilon kind of situation? Or if they have a store of Epsilon creatures in the base.
Okay. So, with that being the bonus question, I'll answer that in these ways. One, Epsilon creatures are on every larger vessel, but not the smaller vessels. Two, every person in this enemy fleet has been oversaturated with this subspace distortion energy. And three, on board the Rama, on board the Talarian warship, and on board the Romulan Talis class vessel, there is one creature that is specifically Epsilon in nature. Oh, correct. And the Klingon Burrell class bird of prey. There is one creature that is simultaneously registering as fully whatever their origin species was and Epsilon controlled. So there's this weird hybrid that you have never recognized before. And the DC does not have a way of classifying it any better than there's something new here.
There's only one like that.
On each of those vessels I just mentioned.
Each vessel. Okay. That's interesting. It doesn't sound good.
All right. That's the first bonus question. What would you like to ask for the second?
get an actual head count on the number and types of enemy ships?
There is the U.S.S. Rama, which has 3 attack wings that have launched. Basically, there are 3 fighter ships, Peregrine styled, but they're actually a weird, newer type of Peregrine. Najar, from your communication and game playing with the security officer on board the Michael Collins, you'll know about these ships. They were a secret test to create a specialized type of fighter that had some strange implications and different things that went on, but effectively, they're very good fighters, and they disappeared from that engagement, of several of them, under the command of one Nick Locarno.
And these fighters are now arraying against us.
Correct. They have been launched from the Rama, and they're 3
Najar
ships.
still has not made it to the bridge to have any of this information yet, though, correct?
No, I'm just giving you the heads up so when it comes up, you can react as though you've always known, kind of thing. Now, these are single person craft. 3 of them is roughly the size of a scale 2 ship, and they're operating as a group, each grouping of them, and there are 3 of them. So that's with the Rama. The Talarian ship, the TSS Terion, is a tactical operation ship. It is a Lynxus class ship and known as a dependable workhorse who was missing in action some time ago. It, for its smaller craft around it, is a Talarian bulk freighter, which is also a scale 2 vessel, and an old Polarian freighter ship. That doesn't seem to be much, but it's a relatively small vessel, but it's a freighter ship that it has around it.
This is a second Talarian ship?
Yes.
Okay.
And what's its scale?
2.
No, the main ship, the tactical ship.
The tactical ship is a 2 as well. And a larger ship, and the reason why I'm listing this in this order, your scan and your previous question will indicate that specialized Epsilon hybrid is on the Terion, not the ship that's actually larger. There is a Talarian starship, the Q Marie. That is a scale 4 ship, but there does not appear to be one of the hybrid creatures in that. There is a Romulan Talis, which is a very old, ancient, we're talking 2260s Romulan bird of prey. That is a scale 4 vessel as well. Surrounding it, in a very similar fashion to what the Rama had for its fighters, are Romulan Scorpion fighters. Again, 3 to an attack wing, and it has 2 attack wings. The bird of prey has Klingon Tejau fighters, and the Tejau's same thing, 3 to a squadron, and it has 2 of those.
So it isn't 3 fighters, 2 fighters, and 3 fighters. It's 9 fighters, 6 fighters, and 9 fighters.
So for anything that I described as a fighter, they're in a group. Each squadron is a group of 3, and there are 2 squadrons per ship. So you're 6. There's 6 of them.
A total of 18.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it's those fighters that are doing that screening action thing. The other ships are kind of just lined up in an array against you as they are building power. And there are a couple very small, minor Breen vessels. They are not specifically of note. They're not known to be warships. Your scans will indicate they have weapons, though, and they are also building power. Because of the asymmetry of standard Breen vessels, it's hard to identify without more scrutiny what they might be specifically, whether they're shuttlecraft, whether they're smaller, whatever. They're just harder to discern based on lack of info on the Breen in general. So that is what your scans will let you know with those 2 questions. Before we move on, did you wish to spend any more momentum and ask any additional questions that you would be able to get from a scan of the overall scene and scenery?
Don't know if I have any other questions that I would get from scanning.
Okay, fair enough. With that, the doors open to the bridge. The returning bridge crew enter the bridge, and I will turn the scene over to you all. How would you like to proceed?
So
I'll
Tobor
stand up.
steps out first and says,
I will
asks for a status report.
I will stand up, hand the rapier to Tobor, say the bridge is yours, and I will give him a status report. I found it on the captain's chair, sir.
I'll give an eyebrow over to Neelan. Mr. Stalvin, get me the Harrington, please.
And I will go over to the engineering console.
Stavin says, "Aye, sir." Stavin will be bringing up the Harrington, but I will let you continue with the scene as you all get to the bridge and do your thing.
As Najjar takes in the damaged and sparking comms console and the con console and the con officer at his station, he raises an eyebrow as well, but then just kind of sighs and sees if he can pull the tactical station up on the pad that was previously being used to pilot the ship.
The short answer is yes. However, it is configured specifically for Lusan's species, which would be very difficult for you to navigate.
And we do have 2 tactical consoles.
True, but Commander Ocean sits at the other one.
Who's currently at the helm?
There are 2 engineers that are working. They've actually got the LCARs removed. They're actually inputting a new one, and you can see them cleaning up. They're trying to get it back together.
But so right now it's Lusan is on the bridge, right?
Yeah, Lusan is currently sitting at the other position currently configured to the con station.
So you can't bump so you just can't bump the person on comms, but what about the station that he was going to go to anyways?
Sir, I can go down to engineering and transfer tactical to the engineering station.
Do it.
Will do.
Okay.
Gives the head nod to Najjar.
Yeah.
Well, Najjar takes a seat. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
I'll head down to engineering.
All right. As you are going through the ship, you are seeing all amounts of damage to various things. It's mostly superficial, but it's weird. There's all kinds of things that are just kind of like in disarray. When you enter the engineering room, you can see that there's like shattered glass, and which is weird because transparent aluminum doesn't shatter like that, but it's as though it like shattered into a million pieces, and it just kind of like shattered in place. It's not like there was a force that blew it one way or the other. Just glass just shattered, and there's scorch marks where electricity sparked and hit places on the ship. So a lot of superficial damage, not much damage to the engine in general, but it's weird. There aren't
I like
things that
there's
create electricity like that.
bigger problems to deal with than that.
Also, just one thing, are transporters still offline?
Yes. Assuming that you've been getting the updates as you've been kind of going and you're traveling, you know that things were taken offline to do different things. What you would know is right now, if you wanted to get transporters online, that would be a series of tasks, basically, to get all of these things back up to going. Your ship is effectively operating with transporters down. If you want to get that technology up, it would be like giving the ship a breach while you fix it. And then you'd have to roll to see how fast you can fix it, kind of thing.
All right. God, we might need him. All right, let's get it going.
We do have the transporters on the runabout.
Yeah, but I don't like going into battle without something like that going, and otherwise the ship's in good shape.
All right. So,
So,
are you going to give the Dilamus Christian a breach for the duration of correcting the transporter issues?
what does a breach do mechanically in a game?
A breach is a trait. So essentially, it's a negative trait, so -1.
Okay, then I'm not gonna do it.
So, leaving transporters down.
Yeah, it makes Tanari's skin crawl, but if it's gonna make the ship less effective in combat, I can't do that to the crew.
Fair enough.
And if worse comes to worse, we have transporters on the shuttlecrafts and runabouts.
Okay. You've got the ship. You are at full power. You've got your shields up. Engine is running at peak efficiency. And you are in place. Back to the bridge. Tobar, you've got a rapier at your side. You're in your damaged chair. They are working on the repairs of the con station. Najar has reconfigured a station to work for tactical purposes. Ocean is in place, and Neilon is at the science station managing sensors. What would you like to do?
I'm waiting for Stavin to patch me through to the Harrington.
Okay. Commander Janus, XO of the Harrington. How can I help you, Christian?
We're at your disposal, Commander. You have tactical command at this time. We are happy to conform to your tactical maneuvering.
They have only been hailing Aslan Station and the Dilamus Christian. And this is where Stavin turns to you and points that he sent you something on your pad so you can look at that on your end. And he sent it to the senior staff that the enemy fleet is blocking communications except for Aslan Station and the Dilamus Christian. Nobody else can radio out.
I see. Commander, are you ready on Epsilon?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Then, since it seems they want to talk, I will indulge them in that while you begin putting your attack wing into space. Mr. Staven, leave the channel open so that the commander can listen, but hail the Rama.
Aye, sir.